Hey y'all, it's Siobhan Muir. Welcome back to Cooking with Siobhan. So today I'm doing it solo. What we're going to make today is called Amish sour cream apple pie. And when I first got this recipe, I thought, sour cream apple pie? And I tried it. It was okay. Because I had to do all the prep work for the apples, and that was just a pain in the butt. It was just, because what they say is 2.5 cups of diced apples, peeled. Yeah, so what I did instead is I shredded the apples with a grater. The egg strikes again. Anyway, you're going to need 2.5 cups of peeled, and I did shredded apples. I just used a grater and totally shredded it. So that's probably the easiest thing to do now is you just, peel the apples and then grate them, and then you have. So what do you need for this dish? Well, you need a 9-inch, unbaked 9-inch pie crust. Why? Because you're gonna throw it all in there. I make mine from scratch because we need to be gluten-free, and the kids require it. So I made mine earlier. If you look at some of my earlier videos, particularly for like I think there's a pie that I did, and I show you the crust. I was a pumpkin pie, as a matter of fact. If you look for the pumpkin pie recipe, you will find the pumpkin pie crust, and I show you how to make this. But because it's already there and it's gluten-free, I just made my own pie crust. So that's the first thing you're gonna need because it takes prep. The second thing is peel all the apples. It usually takes about 5 apples, and then you shred them down and you'll get 2.5 cups. So you'll need a cup of sour cream, which I have over here. 3/4 of a cup of sugar, 1 egg, 2 tablespoons of flour, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of vanilla, and the apples. So, what do you do first? So it says, the directions say, beat sour cream and egg together. Now, you'll notice that my bowl is dirty. The reason is because that's what I made the crust in, so it's not gonna affect the pie at all. You can use a totally clean bowl. I'm just reusing the same bowl so I don't have to wash multiples. But it's just butter and flour, so it's really not gonna make that big of a deal to this pie. So what you're going to do is you're going to put in your, put in your sour cream, and you want a full cup of sour cream. I know that seems like a lot, but the sugar is gonna balance it out along with the apples. So it actually is a really tasty pie. And with the shredded apples, the nice thing about the shredded apples is they make a really compact pie. So it's not oozing everywhere. You actually really get a decent pie to eat. All right, and then the egg goes in the bowl. Do not put it on the floor. Don't recommend. So yes, cream the sour cream and the egg together with your hand mixer. You could probably do this in the big mixer, but this is really, because it's Amish, most of this is hand. You could actually whip this with a whisk if you prefer. If you really want to go completely Amish, they would use a whisk and wooden spoons, and it will work out great. I happen to have a mixer, so I'm going to beat my stuff with the mixer. You start slow because you don't want it to whip around, and then go a little faster. Okay, mix it until it's well combined. It's going to kind of look like kind of yellow cream is really what it is. Then what you do is you add your flour, which is 2 tablespoons, sugar, salt, and vanilla. So 2 tablespoons of flour. And I, of course, use the Bob's Red Mill gluten-free 1-to-1 baking flour. It works really nice. It's what I made the crust out of as well. 1, 2, 3/4 of a cup of sugar. I love these measuring cups. And you can add them all at once. You don't have to worry about, you could essentially add one, mix it, add another, mix it. Not sure it makes any difference in terms of the overall mixture of the pie, honestly. sugary yellow cream. Okay, so we did the flour, the sugar, so now we need a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of vanilla. So again, you could mix it all together at once, or you could just do them one at a time like I'm doing. It doesn't matter. Whatever makes you happy. And then it says, once you've added all these things in, mix until smooth. Okay, so it should look, just mix until smooth, and it's pretty smooth. All right, so then this is where you're gonna start using the wooden spoon, because you don't wanna use a fast mixer for the apples. Now there is, because there's always water in apples, so you're going to get excess water. I would suggest you might want to drain it, because you don't want your pie to be soupy and to take too long to bake. So if you find yourself with extra apple juice, just drain it until they're relatively dry, and then add them to your pie mixture. Okay, and so instead of using the mixer, this is where I suggest you use a wooden spoon. And you kind of wanna mix it so that the apples are combined with the sour cream mixture, and they're totally coated. And that's what it should look like. It smells a little bit like sour cream and apple. Good thing. That's the extent of what you have. So this, you set your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 204 degrees Celsius, because this is where it's going to take some time, because as you can see, it is a little wet, so it's going to take some time to cook off all that liquid. So you're going to cook this, it says, for 25 minutes. Now I know that seems like a short amount, but it's because you're going to make a topping. So you're going to pull the pie out, sprinkle the topping all over it, and then put the pie back in. So to start, you are going to fill your pie crust with the apple mixture. Now, it's all going to be in one corner. So do smooth it out a little bit, because you kind of want the pie in general to be flat. Just in general. No big mounds in the middle of it. And there you have it. That's what you're going to start with. That's what you're going to bake for 25 minutes. So once the oven is ready, we'll throw this thing in for 25 minutes. And then we'll make the crumble crust, because they have, or a crumble topping, because we'll be using brown sugar and cinnamon to kind of make it look like a more traditional apple pie. So we'll be back to put this thing in the oven. Okay, so now we're gonna put the pie in, now that the oven is ready. And you can see it's kind of solid, which is really nice. Now no dropping it. Once the pie is in, bake it for 25 minutes, and then we'll do the topping. So this is, the nice thing about this pie is you didn't have to make a double crust, right? Because if you have to make it from scratch, it's a pain in the butt. However, what they do have is they kind of have a crumble topping on it that really brings out the flavor of the apples and the sweetness. What you need for that is a 1/4 cup of butter. I always use salted butter because it's my thing, but if you would prefer unsalted, it works just as well. 1/4 cup of butter. I'm gonna put this into the microwave just to make sure it's a little softer. I'm gonna put it in for 7 seconds because I don't want it to be mwah, but I don't want it to be so hard that you can't mix it up with the other ingredients. All right, then you add a 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar, chunk of brown sugar, and again, you're kind of wanting to break these up. Use a fork if you can, because you're going to want to make a crumble crust. My brown sugar is a little on the dry side. So you might get chunks of brown sugar that isn't mixed with the butter. On the other hand, the butter mixed with it can soften it up a little bit. And then you add a third of a cup of flour. I use the gluten-free flour again. And then you want a teaspoon of cinnamon. This will be your crumble crust. And it says, I love this, mix crumb topping ingredients until crumbly. That's the extent of the instructions. And you want to make it as crumbly as you can because you want to spread this over the entirety of your pie when it comes back out of the oven. And the cinnamon will bring out the flavor. The butter will make it nice and tasty. Because there's no sugar in this. Well, there's brown sugar, but you want something that will give a nice coat to the top of the pie. So basically, this is what you kind of want to have. Just kind of a crumbly topping that you're going to spread over the entirety of the pie when it comes out. You want to make sure that all the ingredients are more or less mixed in. The butter helps with that. But yeah, so you want a crumbly topping that you can put on your pie when it comes out. So we'll see when it does. Okay, so the timer is going off. So now we'll pull the pie out. And as you can see, I have a trivet here. We're gonna set it right here and then we'll sprinkle the stuff on top. Don't turn your oven off. Leave it on because you're gonna put it right back in. Okay. Ooh, it smells good. Now, mine is a little less crumbly than I would have liked. A little stickier than I wanted. But you know what? That's what fingers are for. You just kind of want to cover this entirely. And you have plenty, so, you know, just making sure it's completely covered. Even if it's not as, like I said, it's not as crumbly as I wanted it to be. Not a big deal. If it was crumblier, it would go faster. However, but the idea is just to get this topping all over your pie. All right. Here you go. So then what you do is you take this pie, be sure to use the hot pads because it will still be hot, and you put it back in the oven for another 20 minutes. And that way it'll cook all together and then we can see what it looks like. Another 20 minutes and the pie will be finished. We'll see then. Oh, it looks so good. All right, there you go. Now it's really, really hot, so I'm not gonna cut into it quite yet. But that's the extent of the recipe. It's really simple. You basically just throw it all together, mix it till smooth, and pop it in the oven. And then of course, you know, you cook it for 25 minutes, add the, it's not so crumbly, but it'll taste good, I promise. Even if it doesn't look like a crumble crust, it'll be good, I promise. And this is a gluten-free pie too, so you know, all the flour that I used in the crumble crust and the pie crust is gluten-free. So yeah, it smells really good. I would love to cut into it, but it's really, really hot, which means it'll burn my fingers and it'll burn my mouth, and so yeah, I'm not into that. But I would love for you guys to see the texture of it. So we'll be back in a few minutes to show you kind of what it looks like once it's cooled down a little bit. And then, yeah, I guess we'll wrap up. Still pretty warm, but we're gonna cut it anyway because I want some pie. So, but I'm gonna use the hot pads so my fingers don't break. Yum! All right, there you go. The Amish sour cream apple pie, gluten-free. And you can see the apples and mixed with the rest of it. And like I said, when it cools down completely, it'll be really solid. So you'll get this really nice pie that doesn't ooze all over your plate, and you can actually eat it. So, it smells really, really good. Thank you so much for joining us today. Definitely ring the bell to find out when there's new videos. Like and comment on this current video. Tell me what you tried. If you put cinnamon in with the apples to begin with. I didn't. I just followed the recipe, but there's no reason why you can't have more cinnamon. Definitely subscribe to the channel, and also try subscribing to Patreon. You can do for as little as $1 a month, which helps me no matter what, but $3 a month, not only do you get these cooking videos, but you also get what's called Thursday Threads Plus, which means it's my works in progress and what I write, how much I write, trying to catch that prompt and put it in my story. I've been writing a lot today and I have not managed to put the prompt in. So it'll be really interesting. So definitely sign up for Patreon, because you're helping an author keep writing. So thank you all for joining us today. Happy making, happy baking, happy eating, and happy reading. Bye.